Mobile museums of tolerance teach civil rights and Holocaust history in Florida. You're listening to The Wrap from Central Florida Public Media. I'm Brendan Byrne. The Mobile Museums of Tolerance was in Osceola County this week, teaching adults and kids alike about Holocaust and civil rights history. Its time in Central Florida corresponds with the 3-year anniversary of the passage of the Stop Woke Act, which restricted how history could be taught in K-12 schools. And education experts say the history people learn aboard the bus is important for everyone to have access to.
And I would say, from my perspective, teaching the civil rights movement, teaching the Holocaust, it's not about politics as people want to make it. It is about humanity. It is about justice. It is about preventing history from repeating itself.
More on the Mobile Museums of Tolerance. That's ahead on The Wrap. The big stories this week from Central Florida Public Media. But first, these headlines. Leon County prosecutors have opened a criminal probe into Hope Florida, a charity championed by Florida First Lady Casey DeSantis. The charity is in the center of a scandal that has some Florida lawmakers accusing Governor Ron DeSantis of diverting $10 million in a state Medicaid settlement through the charity to political committees he used to combat last year's recreational marijuana ballot initiative. The governor has stood by the charity in recent weeks, calling the accusations a far-left media hoax, but some Florida legislative Republicans have been calling for criminal investigations for weeks. Details on the scope of the investigation are not yet public. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission has given initial approval for an annual black bear hunt that will include dogs, hunting at feeding stations, and special permits for large landowners. As Central Florida Public Media's Joe Burns reports, 168 people spoke for and against the hunt at Wednesday's meeting in Ocala.
Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods was the first to speak. He favors the hunt, citing the county's rapid population growth and frequent bear-human interactions.
2 weeks ago, I personally came in contact with a bear in my backyard. Luckily for the bear, he decided to leave.
Supporters say the hunt is scientifically based conservation. Here's Peter Arcuri.
You know, a lot of people are mentioning the 80% disapproval. As a hunter, and it's my favorite thing to do is hunt, aren't we glad that public opinion does not drive wildlife policy? Because if it did, you know, some of these activities we might not be able to partake in.
Many opposing the hunt say the research isn't there yet. Some denounced it as a trophy hunt, made worse by plans to use dogs and shoot bears at feeding stations. For many, the real issue is overdevelopment, and the solutions include things like bear-safe trash cans. 9-year-old Kelsey Blood of Seminole County wanted to speak because she loves the Florida black bear.
I think it's really wrong to have a bear hunt in Florida. Bears are not bad. They're just trying to live their lives in the forest like we live in our homes. Commissioners voted 4-1 for a plan that includes a $5 lottery for a $100 permit to kill a bear in one of 4 hunting zones around the state. The hunt this December will have 187 permits. Joe Burns, Central Florida Public Media.
The Seminole County Board of Commissioners is moving forward with a new vendor to provide on-demand public transportation in the region, reducing area services from Lynx buses. Central Florida Public Media's Lilian Hernandez-Carballo reports the county is still waiting to finalize a contract before announcing new ridership fares.
The board chose Freebie out of a 3-vendor competition. The Miami-based company is offering rideshare services to the county with 35 vehicles for close to $5 million a year. Currently, Lynx is asking Seminole County to pay at least $14 million this year. District 5 Commissioner and Vice Chair Andrea Herr says the county must ensure that federal and state grants can pay for ridership fares, or they'll end up right back where they are now.
Otherwise, we're not going to manage supply and demand, and this becomes the next links. The savings that we realize through the future, only works if we are disciplined about how we manage this. We don't want to become Lynx Jr.
A spokesman for Lynx says the company is waiting for the county's final decisions, and it's still too soon to remark any further. Lilian Hernandez-Carballo, Central Florida Public Media.
Lilian Hernandez-Carballo is a Report for America Corps member. Central Florida drivers can expect heavy traffic this weekend, thanks in part due to the Memorial Day holiday and the grand opening of Universal's Epic Universe theme park. Central Florida Public Media's Marian Summerall has more.
Florida Highway Patrol says Memorial Day weekend typically brings congestion to the local beaches in Central Florida counties like Volusia and Brevard. But now with a new theme park, Florida Highway Patrol is preparing for more localized traffic in Orange County. In addition to the Highway Patrol, Orange County Sheriff's Office says it will increase its presence on Kirkman Road, Universal Boulevard, and Destination Parkway.
That was Central Florida Public Media's Marian Summerall reporting. These stories and more on our website. Visit cfpublic.org. Former NOAA staffers are concerned that federal budget cuts could potentially affect weather forecasting during hurricane season.
But certainly, as you lose more and more people, and if hiring freeze continues and if funding dries up in some of these areas, it's going to be harder to maintain the same level that we've come accustomed to over the last decade or so. Uncertainty in the forecast. Hear more on Engage. Get it wherever you get this podcast. An exhibit aimed at teaching about the Holocaust as well as African American history stopped by Osceola County this week. As Central Florida Public Media's education reporter Danielle Pryor explains, 3 years after Florida's Stop Woke Act passed, putting restrictions in place on how history can be taught here, organizations like the Los Angeles, California-based Museums of Tolerance are taking a more active role in teaching history in Florida.
It's an unseasonably hot Thursday in May, and about a dozen people are sitting on an air-conditioned bus in the parking lot of the Osceola County Library learning history. The bus is one of 2 buses that make up the statewide arm of the Mobile Museums of Tolerance, inspired by the museum in California. The museum's goal is to teach Holocaust and civil rights history in order to combat rising hate and intolerance. In the audience is a group from the Opportunity Center in Kissimmee. The nonprofit helps people with disabilities learn life skills and gain wider independence. With them is teacher Ursula Douglas.
Well, it's important for them, to learn about, the civil rights movement and, equal rights opportunity and stuff like that.
The presentation is part movie, part workshop. Participants learn the history of segregation and the civil rights movement and think about how to be an upstander, someone who speaks up against bullying and hate. Douglas says some of the footage in the movie, drawn from archival tape of marches and sit-ins, which includes marchers being hosed down and attacked by dogs and police, was hard to watch. But she says it was worth it.
Well, it was a little rough, but hey, something we have to, come to terms with and, learn about,
Katie Martinelli, a trained librarian and historian, is leading today's roughly 30-minute presentation.
It's really important to learn this now more than ever because these are things that happened really not that long ago, and some of these things are repeating themselves right now, so it's just important to make everyone as aware as they can be about this history.
The bus is in town 3 years after the Stop Woke Act took effect, restricting how K-12 schools can teach about race, gender, and privilege. Anthony Stryker is with the Osceola County Library. He says there's a hunger for this kind of knowledge, and for the bus, possibly because of changing DEI policies at the national level.
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of people ask about it when we had the signs up. Even yesterday, actually, after she left, someone came in and was like, oh, can I get into the bus? I'm like, unfortunately, it is closed for the night. But tomorrow, it's also a very good presentation.
Stetson University professor Rajni Shankar Brown says in the years since Stop Woke, churches, nonprofits, libraries, and museums like the Mobile Museums of Tolerance have stepped up to ensure Floridians have access to history.
And I would say, from my perspective, teaching the civil rights movement, teaching the Holocaust, it's not about politics as people want to make it. It is about humanity. It is about justice. It is about preventing history from repeating itself.
In January, President Trump signed an executive order with the goal of, quote, ending radical indoctrination in K-12 schooling. That executive order targets both race and gender and the way they're taught. A separate order aimed at banning DEI programs in schools has been blocked for now. Back on the bus, the Mobile Museums of Tolerance's Katie Martinelli says, regardless of what's happening politically, she'll continue to teach history. Next up, the bus will be in St. Augustine for Juneteenth. Danielle Pryor, Central Florida Public Media.
That's it for the wrap this week. This podcast is produced by Central Florida Public Media with assistance from News Director LaToya Dennis and Digital Director Brian Ellison. I'm Brendan Byrne. This is The Wrap.